Your phone buzzes on the desk. A familiar name flashes across the screen, and your stomach drops. You don't pick up. You just flip the screen face down and let the heavy silence swallow the room. Everyone is terrified of the loneliness epidemic right now. But you? You chose this. You pulled the plug. And here's the secret nobody wants to admit. You don't feel lonely. You feel incredibly, beautifully at peace. But how did we get here? When did you become the person who can just walk away from people and never look back? It feels heavy, a dry throat, a long exhale. You weren't always this cold. There was a time when you were the reliable one, the friend answering the phone at 2 a.m, the family peacemaker, absorbing everyone's chaos like a sponge. You saved everyone else every single time until your own battery hit 0. You used to believe that if you just held on a little tighter, if you just listened a little longer, you could fix them. You stayed up late, staring at the ceiling, carrying problems that weren't even yours to bear. Your throat was constantly dry from swallowing your own resentment just to keep everyone else happy. You became a ghost in your own life, a shadow existing only to keep others warm while you froze in the dark. Think about the sheer exhaustion of that old existence. The forced smiles at gatherings that drained your soul. The endless nodding to complaints you'd heard 1,000 times. The terrifying anxiety of trying to fit into spaces that felt completely shallow. You constantly traded your inner serenity for temporary social validation. Every single night you drove home feeling entirely empty, lonely in a crowded room, which is the worst kind of isolation. Then, one day, something shifted. You missed a call, and the world didn't end. It just got quieter. Your brain was actually doing exactly what it was evolved to do. Psychologists call it a dorsal, vagal response, a built-in survival mechanism. When people drain you completely, your nervous system doesn't ask for permission. It goes into lockdown, shutting down, withdrawing, conserving your remaining vital force because it realizes no one else will. Your mind entered a state of hibernation, a quiet biological strike. It's that exact moment you look at a text message, read the desperate words, and feel absolutely nothing. No guilt, no panic, just a profound, empty stillness. It's not that you stopped caring about humanity. It's that your body realized caring was costing you your life. Your nervous system finally stood up and locked the front door. But ask yourself, why did your brain learn to see people as a threat in the first place? It goes back, way back. Maybe you grew up reading The Room before you could even read books, scanning your parents' faces the second they walked through the door. You learned early that love is unpredictable, and closeness comes with a massive cost. So you adapted. You became invisible, learning that the only truly safe place was alone. You became an expert at decoding footsteps in the hallway. Was that a heavy step? An angry tone? A storm brewing? You learned to shrink your presence, to occupy as little physical space as humanly possible, just to avoid triggering a landmine. You grew up believing that to be loved, you had to be useful. You had to be a shield. That is a terrifying amount of weight for a child's small shoulders to carry. Dr. Murray Bowen called this pattern emotional cutoff. It's the desperate strategy of a soul that has been pushed past its absolute limit. When the emotional climate of your childhood home becomes suffocating, walking away isn't a choice. It's oxygen. You learned that if you didn't sever the tie, you would be dragged under. The coldness you feel now isn't a personality flaw. It's the thick scar tissue left behind from years of emotional survival. Now, as an adult, those same old walls shoot up the second someone gets too close. It's a survival blueprint your younger self drew in the dark. You see a minor conflict, a slight shift in someone's tone, and your internal alarm blares. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your immediate instinct is to vanish. You delete the app, you block the number, you retreat into the familiar comfort of your own sanctuary. But there's a brutal difference between guarding your soul and building a prison. Prolonged, bitter isolation carries massive physical risks for your heart and mind. But being surrounded by toxic people will destroy your spirit just as fast. The difference is simple. Walls are built from fear. Boundaries are built from self-awareness. When you build a wall, you lock yourself in the dark with your own demons, keeping the good out along with the bad. Think about the last person you cut off. Did your chest tighten with regret? Or did your shoulders finally drop? If you felt a sudden wave of relief, that isn't malice. That is raw data. It's your body giving you an honest report. True, healthy protection feels like a long, clean breath of fresh air, a quiet space where nobody can hurt you anymore. You are finally keeping company with the one person you abandoned for years, yourself. You aren't paranoid. You've just become a master of pattern recognition. That friend who only texts when they need a favor. You saw it in month 2. The family member with the conditional compliments. You know their rhythm by heart. You can see the manipulation long before it plays out, guessing the exact punchline of their guilt trip before they even finish their sentence. It's like watching a movie you've already memorized. Neuroscience confirms that early emotional stress actually rewires your brain, sharpening your threat detection. Your amygdala is physically hyperactive, constantly scanning environments, body language, and subtle vocal inflections. You are processing social information on a level most people can't even comprehend. Your gut instinct is thousands of hours of childhood data telling you exactly who is safe and who is a predator disguised as a friend. Researchers found that your frontal lobe works over time, calculating the social risks of every single interaction. You're not being overly sensitive, and you're certainly not crazy. You're just operating with an advanced radar system that most people never had to develop. You survived by anticipating the worst. So don't apologize for being able to smell a storm coming before the first drop of rain falls. Society loves to judge people like us. They call us isolated, antisocial, broken. They love to throw clinical labels at anyone who refuses to participate in their exhausting social games. They assume that because your weekends are quiet, your life must be empty. But those words assume we are missing something. They don't understand the heavy beauty of true solitude, the profound wealth of having a mind that doesn't need constant external noise. Loneliness is the painful absence of connection, but solitude is the presence of absolute peace. You aren't sitting in the dark hoping someone calls. You're sitting in your space, finally able to breathe. Your phone is silent, and that silence feels like a warm blanket, not a rejection. You are reclaiming the pieces of your identity that you shattered and gave away to people who didn't even say thank you. Every boundary you set, every text you leave on, read, is a quiet brick you are laying down to build your own fortress. It's the slow, painful process of learning how to exist without needing anyone else's permission. You are rewriting the script. You are telling the world that your kindness is no longer a free commodity, that your presence is a privilege, and that anyone who wishes to cross your threshold must bring peace, not chaos. If you are listening to this right now, wondering if you are just cold, heartless, or incapable of love, please hear me. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not a monster for protecting your sanity. You just learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Choosing to protect your spirit instead of living in chaos isn't weakness. It is one of the most fiercely brave things you will ever do. You are simply tired. Tired of the games, the hidden agendas, the emotional vampires who view your empathy as an open invitation to take whatever they want. You have finally realized that your energy is a finite resource, a precious liquid you cannot afford to waste on people who only show up with empty cups. It is okay to close the well. It is okay to let them go thirsty while you replenish your own soul. The legendary Harvard happiness study proved it. It was never about the quantity of your relationships. It's always been about the depth and quality. 1,000 superficial connections will never heal the ache of a single soul that doesn't understand you. If your inner circle is tiny, but it's full of people who actually see the real you, you aren't doing life wrong. You're winning. You are curating a life of true substance. Think about what you gain when you let the noise fade away. You get your mornings back. You get your creative energy back. You get those quiet moments of contemplation where your best ideas are born. You no longer wake up with a knot of dread in your stomach, wondering whose drama you'll have to untangle today. You have traded the frantic, exhausting hustle for a steady, grounded sense of self. So let the phone ring. Let the unread notifications pile up. Let them think whatever story makes them feel better about losing access to you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for saving your own life. Your quiet room, your cold tea, your favorite music playing softly in the background. This is your kingdom now. You fought through hell to get to this level of quiet. Don't you dare let anyone ruin it. This is the sanctuary you built from the ruins of your past mistakes. Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you let someone cross a line because you were afraid they'd leave. Those moments were the raw materials for the fortress you stand in today. Look around these walls. They aren't here to keep the world out. They are here to ensure that when you do decide to open the gate, it's only for something real. You are learning to fall in love with the quiet spaces, the moments between the thoughts, the stillness of early dawn, the comfort of your own skin. You are realizing that the voice you spent a lifetime running away from is actually the wisest guide you have ever known. By silencing the external crowd, you have finally given that inner voice the megaphone it deserves, and it's telling you that you are finally safe. If this felt like the permission you've been secretly begging for, if these words found the raw, hidden spaces in your chest, just drop a comment below. Share a piece of your story. Tell me about the walls you've built, or the peace you've finally found. I read every single one of them because your journey matters to me. Take a deep breath, let the tension leave your shoulders, and protect your peace.